Yeah, so in our previous session, we learned how to interact with Geoserver, and I think the first thing we learned was to get our data sets for QGIS and get them published. Sorry, our Postgres database and get them published in Geoserver. And we also learned how to import our data sets from our shapefiles into our Postgres database using the QGIS or using the Postgres bundle. Yeah, and I remember the last thing we touched based on was to style the layers that we published in the Geoserver. So today is going to be a build up of what we learned in our last session. Okay, so today we will go to our Geoserver. We will go to our Geoserver and we are going to publish the other layers that we imported into our Postgres database. So that's going to be our first activity for today. So if we can all launch our Geoserver and let's go to layers. We've already connected the database at the store, so there's no need to connect to that database again. We already have that connection here. So let's come to store. When you come to store, in our last session, we connected to our Postgres database here. So we want to add the layers in that database. So I'll come to layers, then I'll click on add new layer. Then I'll select my connection or my store, my data store. That's the spatial workspace, and the connection name is WebGIS_DB. So you can see already I've published the region. That's what we published the other time. So we are going to publish the other, I think 5, the 5 data sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the other 6 data sets, so that we'll go back to our QGIS and we'll do the next activity. Okay, so I'll publish the health facilities first. I'll click on publish. Then, okay, so this health facilities, I'll keep the same name, but I'll just let me keep some. I'll just give it the same name to the title. Then I will come to our coordinate referencing. We are using geographic 4326. Then we'll compute the bounding box from the data set. Okay, so it's done. I'll compute for this one. Everything is okay. And you can see over here, you will see the attributes for that layer. So these are all the attributes for the health facilities. I'm going to keep the default attributes for now. Then I'll come to publishing. Okay, when I come to publishing, I'll move straight to the WMS settings. Okay, so when I come to the WMS settings, over here, we are going to keep the default point. We'll go to our QGIS and apply some 9 styles in there. Then we'll come and apply it to this. Okay, so over here, we'll just keep it at default, the point, that red point. Then we will just click on save. Okay, so we have our health facility published here. So just for us to test, I'll just open the layer preview on the next tab and just test. And okay, so we have our data published. All right. Okay. So that's our health facilities. And if you publish your data set and you come to the layer preview and you try to visualize the layer here and you get a downloaded file, like you see a file downloading in your browser, it means that there is an error with what you just imported. So you have to recheck the processes that you went through before you clicked on the save. At times you can open the WMS file that is the XML file that is being downloaded, and you can read the error log in there. Okay, so I'll go to my layers and publish the next layer. So I have region and health facility published. I'll go to my airports. Okay, I'll leave airports now. Airports out for now. Then I'll come to POIs. The same process. Let's check the reference system. Okay, it's the same. Then I'll compute. You're falling within the same range. Then I'll come to publishing. Then, okay. So for publishing, for all of them, you're not doing anything. You are not going to do. You are just saving. We are publishing them. So we use the default style to do the publishing. Okay. All right. Let me finish publish. Well, after publishing all of them, I'll go to the layer preview to see the others. Just to save some time. Okay. I'll publish the real lines. Okay. Then I will come to, okay, so it's a line. Then I will save it. Then I will add the other data sets. Okay, so I will just add river. I'll keep the name as the same. Compute. Okay, then I'll save. All right, so we'll just publish these for the interim. Then let me go to my layer preview to check if all of them are working. Let me open this. Okay, so we have that also opening. Let me open real lines and see. Okay, we have our real lines also opening. But there's something funny about real lines. Okay, I would have to look at it. This is not the way it's supposed to be. So I'll come back to the real lines. Let me check the reverse. Okay, so that's our water bodies and reverse. All right. So whilst I'm going to check the real lines, those of us who are now publishing our data sets can try and catch up with me so that we can move to the next stage. All right, so I'll come to my real lines. There's real lines. Okay. I would have to check. So I will go back to the DB after the session and check the coordinate system that I used in importing. It seems like this something went wrong during importation. If the coordinates I'm getting here is not what it's supposed to be. So these are some of the checks that you have to be doing. Or after publishing a layer, you might think you've published it, but you go to when you start loading the layers on your leaflet map, you get some of these things. And you might think there's an error somewhere. There is no error anywhere. We have to check the coordinates or the reference system of the row lines so that we do that correction. Okay, so I will skip that and come back to it later, just for us to save some time on our for this session. I'll go to QGIS. Now I want to install the layers that we've imported, right? So I'm going to load all the layers that I've published here. So I'll load health facilities. I will load my rivers. I will load the real line has an issue, so I'll hold that one for now. Then I'll I've already added health facilities. Then I'll load my we've already started the region the other time, so I'll just skip. So we have just these four here. So as we are all GIS guys, I would like each and every one of you to style the layer. I'd like you to style the layer, and any color at all, any style at all that you would like to give to each of these layers, do that. Yeah. So I will. Yeah, please. Don't just follow what I'm doing. You can style it any way you want. Then after I will just save the styles. Then we will go and apply it. I'm bad at cartography, so spare me if you see me selecting some weird colors to represent certain features. Okay, I loaded the health facilities twice. Let me take one off. So at this point, I'm going to save my style. So to save the style, you can come to the properties of that layer by right-clicking on it. Then you come to properties. Then you come to layer rendering. You see this drop down here with style activated. Click on it. Then click on Save Style. So when you go to Save Style, navigate to where you want to save your style. So the style, okay, sorry, we have to export it as XLD. So you have to select Save Style as XLD. Yeah, then you go to where you want to save it. I have a couple of styles here, so let me just create a folder here. Say D4 styles. Okay, so that's health facilities. So I'll say health. Okay, I'll just give it health. Then I'll just save it. Okay. Then I'll move to the next one. Come to POIs. Then I'll come to same process, save style, save as SLD. Then I'll navigate to where I want to save it. That's POIs. I'll save it like that. Okay, then I'll close this. Then come back to the reverse. Then I'll save it. Okay, so at this point, I will just pause for 1 minute for those of us who are now trying to catch up with the class. So I'm giving each and everyone 1 minute to quickly save your styles. Then we can proceed to the next phase. Okay, so let's continue. So I'll go back to my Geoserver, then I'll come to styles. So you click on styles over here, then we'll add the styles that we saved in QGIS. So I'll click on add a new style. Then so the first style I'm about loading is my health facilities. So I'll say health underscore facilities. Then I'll save it into my geospatial workspace. So you see, I'm organizing all my stuffs in that workspace. If I get a different project, you can create a new workspace and save all the things that we'll be doing under that workspace. Okay, so the format that we are about uploading is SLD. Then you click on upload a style. Then we will go to where we saved it. Okay, let me just confirm something. Okay. And I'll come to the D4 and select the health facility and upload. So when you upload, you see the style there being uploaded. Let's preview it. Okay, so that's our style. And you can also validate the style. There are no errors, then we can save it now. So after saving, you can come back to your layer. That's our health facilities. You click on it. You come back to the publishing. Then at the WMS settings, click on this drop down and search for the style that you just saved. I saved mine as health facilities. So that's health under geospatial workspace. So I've applied it and I'll just say save. When I'm done with that, I can come back. Where is it? Okay, so there's it. I can refresh the layer preview and you can see that the style has been applied. Yeah. So that's how to apply the style. So let's do that for all the 3 layers that we've published. Then we can move on to the next activity. So I'm going to come here and add the other styles to my Geoserver. Okay, so I'll come to my layers and apply the two other styles that I just imported. So I'll come to river, come to publishing, then I'll come to WMS settings and search for rivers. So let me search for river. Okay, so that's river. Okay, then I'll apply that. Come to POI, then I'll come to publishing, then I'll come straight to our WMS settings, then I'll search for POIs under the spatial works. Okay, so I saved it as POIs. Okay, so that's the style. Then I'll save it. So let me refresh this to see if my style has loaded. So that's it. So you can see my water bodies start. I know most of you would have selected nicer colors than what I selected. I don't have eyes for colors, so I know the cartographers among us can help us choose the right colors, and we can move on. Okay, so all our styles have been applied. So at this point, all these layers that we've published and applied the styles are now ready for WebGIS. We can load this. So each time you want to load this onto your map, we will get the name of the layer and pass it through a certain function, and it should be good to go. So the next phase of our mentorship program will be going through the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then we'll touch base on jQuery, Bootstrap. Then we will come to the leaflets. Then we'll try to load all these layers. All right. So the other thing I would also want to show you in this the Geoserver. Let me just give ourselves 1 minute to quickly apply our styles to the layers. Then we can move on to the next activity. Please, if you have any questions, please jot them down. Right after my presentation, I will read the questions and we can all tackle it. All right. Okay, so let's continue. So the other thing, I sent some data set. I sent some data, I think last 2 days or 3 days on the platform. It's a file, right? So that TIFF file, we want to publish that TIFF file. So that TIFF file is a tree cover product that was derived from GE. So this is supposed to be the output. Just forget about the black spots that will be showing. These are, let me just put them off. So this is the output, right? So this is what I exported. I exported a version of it, and that's what we'll be using for our practicals. Okay. So at this point, I want each and every one of you to go back to your stores. So we are about publishing our TIFF file. So you go to your store, Then you come to add new store. Then under the store, you come to Geotiff. The image I shared is Geotiff. So you click on Geotiff, then you give it a name. So I'll say tree cover. Tree underscore. Okay, let me make it like tree cover underscore GH. So it's a tree cover over Ghana. I think it's around 2018. Yeah, the year 2018. I'll just give it the same name to the description. Then over here, when it comes to the connection parameters, you browse to where you saved that TIFF file, or if it's on the server, where you placed that TIFF file. So I'll click on browse and navigate to where I have my TIFF file on my PC. Okay, so I'll go, it's on my drive D, go to the Spatial Developers Mentorship. Then I come to materials. I'll come to the spatial. I'll come to data sets, and there is a TIFF file somewhere here. So you select the TIFF file, then we can save the store. So I just click on save, and our store is saved. So because it's the first time we are saving it, we are adding the store. It will automatically open the layers for you to publish the layers in that store. So currently we have the Savannah tree cover version 2 in there. So I would like to publish this TIFF file or this Geotiff. So I will click on publish, right? Then the name, I don't want to use this name, it's too long for me. So I'll just clear this and I'll say tree cover map. Then I'll just use it as so I'll say tree cover. Let me remove the underscore so that I can keep it simple. All right. Then over here, I'll click on compute from data sets. Okay, let's check something here. You know, our data sets, the coordinate reference that we want to use is 4326 for our geoportal. We want to be consistent. And this data we have here has a EPSJ 32630. So let's apply what we learned the other time. I spoke about projecting the data set into another coordinate system. I mentioned it, but we didn't apply it. So let's apply that here. So we have this in UTM zone 30N. We want to declare it into our selected coordinate system. That's our 4326 geographic. So I'll just enter what we want to use in our WebGIS or what we want to use in our developments, because all our data sets are being kept in that spatial reference. So I'll say 4326. Then over here, say project native to declared. So this is native. So native is UTM zone 30, and we are declaring. So let's find this. So you can click on it and just come here and let's say search for the EPS, and so that's it. You can just click on it to select that. Okay. Then we are over here, the SRS handling. So it says we are projecting the native to declared. So when I click on compute from data, you can see that the data has been projected. So the bounding boxes have been projected to our our geographic. That's 4326. Sorry. So I just compute this again. Yeah, and it's the same. So over here, we would have to apply our star. But before we do that, let's save the layer in our Geoserver and go back to QGIS. Okay, there's something that I think I am skipping here. Can someone tell me what we are skipping here? You can see we are having sites here. I'm saving all my data sets under geospatial, the geospatial store. The geospatial workspace. Over here, I think when I went to the stores, instead of me selecting the geospatial, I left it as default. So let's go back. Let me just save this. Then I'll come back to the stores and fix this. So tree cover, let me put it in this container. So this is what we are working in now. And I'll just save it. Then let's come back to our stores and see if it has reflected. So you can see that our container has reflected. So it's now under Geospatial workspace. Okay. So at this point, we'll go back to our good friend QGIS. Let me close this. Okay, because of the nature of the file is a bit heavy. The TIFF file. Let me just remove these for my machine to run it a little bit much more smoother. Okay, so I'll navigate to where my raster file is, my GeoTIFF file is. Then I'll just get it onto the map. Okay, so I'll drag it onto the map. You can also use this icon here to navigate. So you go to raster, then you can navigate to wherever the raster is, and you select the raster and load it. But I've been doing this, it has become part of me. I go to the directory straight and drag it onto the map, and I move on. Okay, so at this point, I'm allowing my QGIS to load the TIFF file. And let me show you something. I would like to show you something. Okay, so it has loaded. So this is what we are seeing here. But this is the picture that we want to paint. So let me come here. Pictures. So the product. So assuming you've done a nice, like your project work, or you are working on some office work, and this, you've styled everything in ArcGIS, you've done your posters and everything, right? We want to keep the same style so that your web GIS or your geoportal that you'll be creating will have the same style as your posters and the other paper maps that you've created. So this is what we have here. So over here, this is a tree cover map over Ghana, and the greener you see, like the greener the pixel is, it means that that place has a lot, some more trees over there. And as it goes lighter and into the brown range, it means that there's the tree cover is getting lesser, or there's some kind of urbanization somewhere. So this, I took a snapshot of my legend, Earth Engine. So this is my legend, right? So I'm going to post this, the colors that we used in this, in the styling of this Geostiff. That's the visual parameters. I pasted it here. So this is it. So I'm just going to copy this. So we will be using equal interval, and we'll use 4 classes and apply these styles to it. So I'll post it on the platform, then you can follow me as I do it. So that's our color, our visualization parameters we are about to use. Okay, so when you load the TIFF file, you see it as black and white, right? So let's go to the properties now. We should get used to this. Then our style, we will use the single bar studio color. Then we over here, we want to use equal interval. You can choose to use whatever you want to use, but for the purpose of this session, to get exactly what I computed in Earth Engine, let's use our equal interval, and I'll say I need 4 classes. So it will just do that for me. So let's say classify. So you should have 4 classes now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. So the lesser the number, right? The lesser the number, the lesser the tree cover, right? So I'll double click on the first one. That's the 15.0. I'll double click on it. Then I'll come to my style. I'll select the first one. So that is this one. I'll select it. Then I'll clear this, leaving the hash symbol. Then I'll just add it. Then I'll click on it. Then I will now add the color for the other one. So I'll double click on it. Then I'll come and select the next color. Okay. Then I will select the, I'll add it to right here. Then I'll click on OK. Then I'll come to the third one. Please forgive me, I have some visitors in the house and I think there's some noise at the background. Sorry for that. Okay, so I'll come to the third one. Come to the third one. Then I will add the star to it. Then I will come to the last one. The last one color is much more the same as what I use in Earth Engine, but for us to get the same color, I will still use this. So this is text, and when Eugene is teaching you the CSS, he will mention these colors. I know most of you are used to these hex color codes, so he will touch base on that, and he will appreciate these color codes, right? Okay, so let's click on OK. Then now let's see what you've done by clicking on apply. So when you click on apply, let's see how it goes. Okay, so those of us having 12 gig RAM, 10 gig, 8 gig might be suffering from now. Those of us having a higher processing RAM or a higher processing speed should be seeing the colors here. My machine is struggling for some. Okay, so let me just click on OK and let's wait for it. So at this moment, I'm expecting you to see the picture I showed earlier. Whilst mine is loading, let me just load. So I'm expecting you to see something like this on your screen. If you're not seeing anything like this, it means that your color coding went wrong. So kindly recheck it. So as I made mention earlier, if you have a product, you create a product, let's say a land use land cover map over a place, you want to show that in your WebGIS, you can use the Geoserver to publish it out. So you go through the same process, but over here, the way, okay, let's try something out here. Let's use the same process that we used in saving the star, and let's see if it's going to be possible. So I right click on it, go to properties, then I'll come to star, and I'll say save star. Over here, you can see we are unable to save the star as WMS, SLD, right? So go to your, what do you call it, your plugins, and we will install this plugin, SLD for raster. So we will go to plugins, you come to manage and install plugins. Then you search for SLD number 4 raster. So you should see something like this. Highlight on it and click on install plugin. I've already installed it, so you can. I already have the uninstall plugin function or button. So when after installing that, you should have this icon added to your menu bar or your toolbar. Sorry. So I will just wait for another 1 minute or 40 seconds for those of us downloading this. It should take less than a minute to download this plugin. So let's wait for some seconds, then we continue. I hope it's going well. If you have any question, kindly jot them down. Right after my presentation, we will tackle each question one after the other. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm assuming we've all installed the plugin SLD for raster. So I'll click on it, then I'll select the raster layer. That is, so assuming you have multiple raster layers here, you have to click on it and select the right one. Then you can click on generate SLD, right? So it's going to generate all these codes for you. In actual, like you should have written this in Geoserver yourself, but these plugins are writing these codes for you, this XML codes for you to make it easier for you to style your GeoTIFF in Geoserver. So I'll click on export. It has this upload to Geoserver. Personally, haven't tried that, but you can experiment that at your end. So I'll just export it so that I'll have a copy of the style on my PC. So I'll click on export as SLD. Then I'll come to the folder in which I've been saving the SLDs. Then I will come to the 4 styles. Then I'll save tree cover. Okay, so it has been saved successfully. I'm just going to close it and go back to my Geoserver. So I'll come to Geoserver and I'll come straight to the styles. I'll add a new style, come to upload, then I'll upload the tree cover style. Click on upload. Okay, so you should see your codes here. Let's confirm whether we uploaded the right thing. So I'll click on the preview to see the color coding. Okay, so that's what we uploaded. We did. And over here, I'll select Geospatial. So the style, I'm saving the style in the workspace, Geospatial. Okay, the name, I'll keep it as such, tree cover. All right, then I'll say validate the codes. Okay. All right, let's save it. Let's save it and apply it and see something. invalid content from drawing. Right, let's apply it and see. It has happened to me once. I validated, I had an error, I applied, and it worked. Well, let's try if it's going to work this time around. Okay, so let's come to our layer. I'll come to my tree cover layer. I'll come to publish. Then I'll say I'll come to my WMX. Then I'll search for my tree cover. Okay, so that's it. Then I'll say save. Okay, then let's come to layer preview and check. If you get a downloaded file, it means there's an error. But if you don't get that and it's loads, I think you should be good to go. So as it's loading now, I'm assuming it's applied. So let's wait for it to load. Okay, so whilst mine is loading, trying to preview it, let's wait for the other colleagues who are trying to get theirs to this stage. Then we can tackle our last activity. Then we will open up for questions. Okay, so it's still loading. Close certain things. All right. So while it's loading, let's go back to our Geoserver and let me show you something. So assuming you have two layers. So let's say you have GeoTIFF files, or you have two layers that on the map you want to use one switch to switch both of them on, or you want to combine the layers and load them as one layer. You can do that by using the layer groups, right? So when you go to the layer groups, right? So by the time you come to the layer group, you should publish all the layers that you want to group. So you come to layer groups, then you click on add new layer, right? You can give it a name. I'm just going to give it a test name, test underscore, because it's something I'm not going to use this layer. So I just want to demonstrate something to you. So you have test underscore group TPR layer, right? So when you come here under this, right, you come to add layer. So over here you should see all the layers that you've published. So I want to show the POIs together with the reverse. So I'll say add POI, right? Then I'll come to add again. Then I'll say add reverse, right? You can use this to check the reorder them, right? Then after you have to compute for the bounding box. Okay, so let's put it in our spatial layer workspace. Let me use the same title. Okay. Then we can say generate bounds. So when you click on it, it will just generate the bounds for these two layers. then I'll say save. So when I save this layer group, okay, so you can see my layer has loaded. It's done loading. So that is the TIFF file that I styled. The styled worked, it's applied to it. So you can see we have the same picture like what I showed you earlier. Where is it? So this was the picture I showed before, and this was the aftermath. So you should get something similar to this. If you are not getting anything like that, it means you are using the wrong hex code. You are not using what I sent you, or you are using a different interval. Okay, so let's go back to our layers. I want to show you the group layer. So let me come to preview and search for my test. So you can see that I have a test layer group here. Let's visualize that. So when I click on it, you can see it has loaded both the POIs and the what do you call it? The rivers together as one layer. Yeah. So if you have, let's say your data is in tiles, you inherit a data set and it's in tiles. You can load all the tiles. Let's say they are in 4 tiles. You can load all the 4 tiles individually on the map, on the Geoserver. Then you come to the layer groups and group all of them as one layer, so that on your GeoPortal or your WebGIS application, you can just call the name of that layer, the layer group, and it should be able to load all of them as one layer. Okay. So at this point, I'll bring my presentation to an end. Then I'll assume we are all experts in Geoserver now. We can play around and please try as much as possible to go through all the functionalities there. And as I made mention earlier, this is a mentorship program. I'll point the key features just to whet your appetite. Then you should do the work by exploring it and like go ahead with whatever that's materials that we'll be sharing, related to the things that we'll be touching base on. Okay, so I'll open the floor now for questions, then we will tackle them. Our time is almost up. We have it's now 8:05. I'll just read some questions, then we can see. This message comes every time I try to run PG admin. Okay, so this is a different issue. It's not what we thought today. We'll tackle that after the session. So I want questions related to today's presentation. The way we are all quiet is two things. It's either I've confused you or you understand everything that I taught. So which of the, okay, so there's a question here. Is there a right privilege needed to access the TIFF file in Geoserver? I can't access the TIFF file for my computer using Geoserver. No, there is no right privileges on that TIFF file. I exported it from my assets. Yeah, okay, so please, can you give us a live application to a relationship of a Geoserver? Okay. Let me see which of the apps. Yeah, okay. I wanted to open one of the apps. I use mostly Geoserver layers, WMS, but just to remember something, I signed a non-disclosure. But let me see if I can think of any other app that I have not signed any non-disclosure. Then I can show you something. Why haven't you show and explain the other tabs when publishing a layer? Yeah, so as I made mention, so if I'm supposed to touch base on everything on the Geoserver, we can't finish our 8 weeks. So I said it's a mentorship program. I'm touching base on the key things that will help us get on our objectives. It's up to you to read more and know what the other layers or the other functionalities are. Okay, so if you read and you get stuck anywhere, you can hit me back. Oh, this is what I did. I went further to explore these functionalities. This is what I'm getting. Can you help me out? I'll be glad to help you. Right. Yeah. So that's the reason why I'm touching base on the most important features that we need to achieve our main objective. All right. Thank you, Vic. Okay, let me see. I think I have this app on my PC. No, that app also is not up yet, so I can't show that. Let me see, check something else. Okay, so whoever asked the question, so this is an application that is using a blend of Earth Engine and Geoserver. Okay, so on top of my head, I know this project is under Severe West Africa, and it's a portal to monitor illegal mining activity, which was done. It was done under University of Ghana Center for Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Services. Yeah. Oh, my internet is a bit slow now. Let me just refresh it again. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so this layer here, there's this black layer. This layer here is coming from a WMS, is a WMS layer, right? Then there is, and all these layers are also WMS. These layers, they are all WMS. Okay. So this is like a typical, I wanted to show you another app, but I can't do that now. Maybe I'll replicate a similar app before we finish the program and show that to you. Okay. So these are like application, and by the time, I promise, by the time we start the next phase, the ATL CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, we will have a pictorial view of whatever we are about building, right? So our final project, what we will achieve, what we will be building. Then Eugene is going to show you how to put together everything from scratch, the CSS, the HTMLs, the JavaScript. Jed will be taking the JavaScript and the jQuery aspects. Then I'll come back and handle the leaflets. So whatever that we've learned in the for the past 3 weeks, is it 3 weeks? Yeah. Is it up to 3 weeks? Yeah, for the past 3 weeks or 2 weeks, we will apply everything there. So please practice it so that when we get to where we'll be applying all these knowledge, you wouldn't be left behind. And all the layers that we've published in the Geoserver, if you have any other layer or you have your own EOI, you have your data sets, feel free, publish them. When we start doing it, you are free to use any data sets that you want to use. The data sets that I've shared are just for practical sake. If you have some live data sets that you want to build a project along, feel free to do that. And when you get stuck anywhere, hit me up. When I get the time, we can look at it together. Then you'll be good to go. Okay, so let me check if there is any other question, then I can handle it. Okay, so at this point, since there are no questions, I will bring today's session to an end. Okay, there's someone typing. Let's see what he's bringing. If it's a question, then we handle that. And please, those of us who sent me messages related to some issue today, please forgive me. Today too was just hell for me. I was all over the place, from jumping from one meeting to the other. So after this session, I'll be online for like 30 minutes to help you guys solve your issues. Then I'll go offline. Yeah. So thank you very much for making time for this session. Keep practicing and never give up. When you have any error, try as much as possible to hit any of the instructors or the experts among us. And I was so impressed today when I saw some of our colleagues helping those of us who were having issues. I was so impressed because I can see like that culture, helping one another. Yeah, and that's what I've been preaching for some time now. So let's keep it up, and I know whereabout our main objective will be met at the end of this program. So stay blessed, and see you on Wednesday. All right. Take care. Bye for now.